Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael. Thanks for being here today. I'll begin showing you what I've been working on. So what I've been doing is I decided to rebrand the downtown bar and restaurant, the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange, which as of recently has expanded to Detroit as well. This bar is unique from others in its pricing mechanism, which mimics the concept of the stock market. So the more people that are buying a certain beer, the higher the price goes, and the fewer people that are buying another beer, the lower that price goes. So this television that is displayed at the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange shows the beers on the left in the white, and then the price point, which it's at, and then a red or green arrow, which is implying whether the price is going up or down. And so if a lot of people are buying a beer at a certain point, then the dollar amount in the arrow will turn green and it will go up, so it's raising the price. You might not want to buy that beer at that point because it's just more expensive than it would normally be. But if it were red, which none are shown here, it'd be going down, and then it's cheaper than it would normally be. So you might want to buy that beer at that point. Yeah. And then every 15 minutes, there's a chance for a bell to ring, symbolizing the stock market crashing. And every beer on the exchange menu goes to its lowest price, giving you the opportunity to play the market. So the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange just has kind of a novelty to it, not seen in many other bars or restaurants. And then my thesis statement is that the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange provides a uniquely themed bar experience, and their identity should not only clearly reference its theme, but also represent the quality of atmosphere and service they provide. So to introduce you guys, this is their current logo. As seen here, their branding has very literal references to what they stand for. They have an arrow pointing up in a glass full of beer, and that's the face of their logo. And then on the outside of the circle, they have Kalamazoo Beer Exchange and multi-tap bar and grill. And they also use the colors green and brown, which I'm assuming are referencing stock market arrows for green, and then probably the color of beer for the brown. And I do think this logo gets their idea across, but I think it could be done in a more elegant manner. With them being such a unique and expanding business, I was immediately interested in creating a new identity for the beer exchange. So my audience would be college students, middle class in the range of 21 to 50 years old, and just anyone looking to go downtown to have fun night out. And my goals are to polish and simplify their logo, keep references to their original logo, create a visual balance between playful and volatile, create a logo that can be applied to all their current needs, and have their city name be easily interchangeable for their new location in Detroit or any expanding locations. And then my research started by creating lists and mind maps of different concepts to dive further into. And those different concepts were design plans, functionalities, meanings, demographics, and aesthetics. So I first looked up some brewery logos, and here's some I found that caught my eye. For the few of these in green and tan, I like that they were related to the original colors of the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange logo. But I think they're a little bit more refined in this context. And then this Black River typeface just stood out to me, and it was kind of some aesthetic I was exploring, so I took note on that. And then here are some other influences, which included Art Deco architecture, stock exchanges like the Chicago Board of Trade and the New York Stock Exchange. On top of the Chicago Board of Trade, there's a statue of Ceres, who is the Greek goddess of agriculture and grain. And I thought this could be a nice reference as grains are used in some beers and alcohols like wheat ales and whiskeys. And then, so moving on. So here are some sketches inspired by some of those pictures. I used an Art Nouveau design for the type logos on the left, and then tried making an emblem sketch for the series idea on the right. And although I liked these ideas, I kept sketching. Here's some more pictures I thought would be obvious yet tasteful references for the identity. On the left is a Sanborn insurance map of San Francisco and a 1969 $100 bill, which had some cool ornamentations, crests, and emblems to work off of. From those references, I made plenty of sketches, and here are a few. I almost made this $100 bill crest seen here, my final logo, and then I met with Nico Raditz, who gave me some good advice, and he said I should be trying to evoke the feeling of this stock exchange rather than simply trying to use a relatable reference. So after sketching a bunch more, I decided on the last one of the page, Nico kind of just changed my trajectory. I changed trajectories a bunch of times, but yeah, so I have all these, and then this last one is where I kind of took it to a different place. And so I know it's hard to see this, but I started to yeah, build off of this sketch, which incorporates simple text that emphasizes the beer exchange and utilizes the stock market arrows to clearly reference the stock market and volatility. And then at this point, I realized the identity logo the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange already had was enough conceptually. I think it just lacked a polished design to visually promote their quality and evoke the feelings I believe it should. So here's where I took this. I started with choosing fitting type and reworking their name structure. I changed the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange to Beer Exchange Kalamazoo because I believe the brand is the most important part and the city is just where the brand lives. I wanted the company name to be seen first. So I chose this one from all the options because it had a slightly playful and bold look, which I think encapsulated the idea I was going for. And then I made plenty of iterations of the Enmo sketch to figure out little intricacies of the composition. This is probably the most important part of the process for me. After figuring out what concept I want to go with, I need to see a bunch of slightly different composed logos to see which one works the best on multiple fronts, such as these black on white and white on black logos. And then just little changes in line weights and shape and form placements. Like I need to see a bunch to get the idea or just see what's a potential. And personally, I didn't like any of them all that much. At the time, I think the diamond structure was giving a feeling of stability when I needed to get the idea of volatility across in a more playful manner. So I took the ones I liked the most from the last batch and put them together with these two more I made without the diamond shape. And then I realized the two logos on the right carried the energy I wanted to give off. I decided to revise one of the diamond-shaped logos alongside the new asymmetrical arrow logo just to see if I was going in the right direction. And at this point, I had finally made up my mind. Kinda. So I ended up changing the B right before the end. And so this would give it potential for a monogram logo if needed. So, and then it also just adds a little bit of uniqueness. I'm not just downloading a typeface and plopping it next to an arrow and calling that a logo. It has some customization to it. So there's room for a monogram logo if needed there. And then here's the final logo. Here's my identity guide going over the different versions, color swatches, and typefaces used. Here's the logo mocked up on signage, similar to a beer exchange aesthetic, bricks, old historic building. And here is beer exchange logo on some beer mugs. So more beer mugs on a napkin. some hats, which I'm assuming there would probably be more merchandise available in this with this branding. It would just need to be taken further, but employees, merchandise, they'd all be getting hats, and then a shirt, just to see what it would look like. I'm assuming there would be shirts. Thank you. That is all. Any questions, Danny?
I think so.
I might.
Should.
Yeah. Okay. I will. All good?
What do you think was the most challenging thing project for you?
Figuring out a logo. Yeah. I had a lot more plans, but it was interesting seeing the whole process of designing a logo, which was ended up being most of that project. So
How would you approach designing the logo?
and sketch less. Um, when I moved onto the computer, I think things started to happen more, maybe. Anna? Yeah, so I'd like to revise, a couple things like the monogram logo. I've talked to Ryan about, improving that. I'd like to make actual um, applications for the beer exchange, like putting it on the building, figuring out ways to advertise their building better. I spent a little bit of time trying to figure that out, but had a tough time. So, and then definitely redoing their website. They have a pretty low quality website right now. Alex, did you have a question? Okay. All right. Thank you.